Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, what's unsolicited advice? Take it or leave it. You still there? Good. So if I haven't pissed you off on the last one, this one probably will piss you off even more. And it's just for some that don't want to educate themselves. They just want to be right. But it's going to be the truth. I did my research. I asked questions. I made sure that it wasn't just my opinion, but the opinions of others. So without further ado, this time around, we're going to talk about the top 10 toxic women. Yeah, it's going to get spicy. But yes, women can be toxic as well. And there's an argument to be made that they do it better. Who knows? But we'll talk about 10 different ones. And it'll sound familiar. And for some, it might hurt some feelings. But it'll be okay. We're just here to understand and not to judge. So the first one we're going to talk about is the heartbreaker. So the heartbreaker, super affectionate one day, distant or cruel the next. You know, they like to flirt, but the moment that they feel like you're starting to catch those waves, it's like, oh, I ain't interested. It's just like flirting. Don't take it serious. It's just me. I just like to flirt. It keeps, and they feel like it keeps men guessing, or it confuses them, or it keeps them emotionally hooked on inconsistency. Because some guys like it. They like the chase, and I talked about that before in the last video. They like the chase. So I'm going to tell you why this is dangerous, especially nowadays in 2025. You need to mean what you say. If you do like a guy, make it be known. Like, have a real adult conversation with him about how you feel about him, or that you're interested. You can't flirt anymore. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing unless there are good intentions behind it. Because if let's just say you sitting there, you want to keep a guy guessing. Some guys don't understand the process of it. So they're going to take it as, oh, I need to make the move. I need to be aggressive and assertive. And what does that turn into? That turns into all these lawsuits that have been sexual assault accusations, because a guy is taking his flirting as he needs to make the first move. So, you have to be careful about being a heartbreaker. You don't want to be that toxic. You need to stand on what it is that you want and be consistent. Don't be hot one day and then cold the next, because that's sending a signal. And like I said, you're probably not gonna like what I'm saying, but I'm just being honest. That sends a signal to a guy that he either is one or the other. Oh man, she's not interested in me, or I need to be more assertive. I need to be a man and stop being, a little wussy and assert myself on her. That's what she's looking for. She's looking for a man to take control. And you might not be giving those vibes off, but in his mind, he thinks that that's what you're saying, is that he's not trying hard enough. And then what are you going to take? You're going to take it as, he's harassing you, or he's being irritating, or he's being, an old saying, he's being a bugaboo, or he's being irritating. But in his mind, he's like, oh, I thought that's what you wanted. I thought you wanted me to pursue you. So yeah, you got to be careful about that. I talked about being a narcissist on the last video, but the difference with a toxic woman is a woman that has narcissistic beauty. So that means that they have stunning looks, a high social media presence, deeply self-centered. They use their appearance for control, expects to be worshipped, but rarely gives it back. That means that they are the prize. They are the catch. They don't understand why you need anything from them. You should be worshiping them. You should not need anything from them. And this one is more for something for guys. This is more for women that they can't see or touch in real life. This is only for these women that live on social media. Okay? So you have these narcissistic women that live on social media, and that's how they get all their attention. They don't really want to be with any guys. They just want their numbers to go up on social media because they're using their beauty to get attention. They're trying to catch a bigger fish. They're not trying to talk to you. You know, they're trying to catch a bigger fish. And even then, they feel like they're the prize. Even if that guy is a billionaire or he's a tycoon or a CEO. So that's how far their narcissism goes. Real simple one. Real simple. We'll get to the next one. So the next one is what women are masters of. They just are. We can't do it better than them. And this is the master manipulator. The reason why this is a toxic trait in women, and the reason why I say that they're the masters of it, is because they're emotionally sharp. Emotionally sharp. They read people well, and they use guilt or tears, crying, strategically. You know, it's almost like, you know, what they call like white woman tears and stuff like that. You know, they get what they want through like subtle control. You know, they often play the victim, so they get at you mentally. You know, it's like how they say, hey, I need for a man to put like when women say, I need a man to put me in my place. You know, be a man, put me in my place. Let me know when I'm doing wrong. You know, so what do? They start yelling, getting in your face, you know, talking outside of their neck. And then you start remembering, hold on, she told me that I need to be a man and put her in her place, you know, and be a man about it. You know, that's the only way a man can keep her quiet. So now, you know, you puffing your chest out. Hey, you know, you need to calm down. Who are you talking to? You're not talking to me. You my woman. You need to treat me with respect. So now she's going to start crying. You know, she's going to start playing the victim. And this is how she gets the control back. Because if you really love and care for her, you're going to be like, oh, baby, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean to make you cry. It's just, you know, you were all in my face, and I felt like I needed to let you know that you can't do that. So now she didn't play mental chess with you because she used those, you know, those big baby eyes and started batting her eyes and acting like she was gonna cry and, you know, poking her lip out and stuff. She got you now. And this is why women are so good at it, because if you are a gentleman or you're a real man, yeah, you know, you're taught to treat a woman a certain way. So, and they know that. So if you're a good guy, or if you do have manners like that, or you believe in chivalry or whatever, they know how to use that. And that's how they use it. You know, they make you feel guilty about something that you said or did that may have not been nothing, but they use it. They weaponize it to get their way. This next one is the one that you never see coming. And it's the cool girl chameleon. So this is a girl that pretends to like all of your hobbies. They seem chill, you know, but it's like a performance. You know, they start off like that. It's like, damn, you know, what we always say, man, it's like she one of the homies, man. She loved playing video games with me. We you know, we sit up and eat junk food. We talk about the same stuff. We like the same shows. But this is how they lull you in. They reel you in this way, you know. Because then once they got their hooks in you, they change who they are to gain approval. Pretty much, that's what they do. And then they resent the relationship later. It's like, hold on, I thought you know, for a guy, it's like, I thought you liked this stuff. Yeah, but I thought we were going to grow as a couple. I thought we was going to get past all that. It's childish. It's like, well, hold on. You said you liked these things. You said that you love the stuff that I love. But now all of a sudden it's petty and childish. You know, they got you now. You're in a relationship now. This 5-6 months in, now all of a sudden, you know, she resents the relationship because she spent all this time, you know, being the cool girl. She being a chameleon the whole time because she wanted to get you. She wanted to lock you down. Now come to find out, she don't like none of that stuff. The whole time you've been buying her video games and taking her to the, you know, basketball court with you, and watching all these, you know, kung fu flicks or gangster movies or whatever, you know, on Netflix, watching your favorite show. You thinking that she like it too? No, she don't. She don't. You know, she lured you right in. You thought she was cool. She wasn't. She was crazy. Oh man. This next one is funny, and that's why I was laughing because I was sitting there thinking about it. But it's the next one. We're gonna call it the soft life entitled queen. So these type of women, they want luxury and they want ease without effort or compromise. You know, they expect men to fund their lifestyles without offering emotional or practical partnerships. Usually these type of girls didn't get any of this in their last relationship, so they're using you almost like uh, a test monkey or a guinea pig. You know, it's almost like they're running a test on you. Say, you know what, I didn't get none of this in my last relationship, so this one, I'm gonna be a passenger princess. I'm gonna start asking for these things. And I'm not gonna compromise. You know, the next guy, he's gonna treat me like a queen. And this is usually what they do. They start saying they want to be in a soft life. They just want to be catered to. It's like if you have to say that, you're probably not going to get it. Because guys reward effort. If they see you working hard and being a partner and busting your ass, they're more likely to help you in that relationship because they see you doing instead of asking. Because in a guy's mind, it's like, hold on, a man's supposed to do that. You know, it's almost like he wants to stop you. It's like, no, baby, I got it. Oh, okay. I just felt like coming outside and cutting the grass. Like, no, baby, I'll cut the grass. See, that's smart. You know, and I'll tell a woman in a minute, never talk about it. Be about it. Because the more that you're about it, the more the man is going to look at that almost like competition. It's like, oh, no, I can't have my woman doing all this, you know. She done got out the car and started pumping gas and he said nothing to you. You didn't even know she was about to do it. You got to run up and stop her. That's smart. You know, that's a Jedi mind trick. That's something that most women have to learn to do. See, it's smarter to do that. You have to be willing to do it before somebody says it. Because after a while, that's muscle memory to a guy. It's like, no, baby, I got it. You know, no, you work so hard. You know, you do so many things that I'm even saying it. I'm going to take care of you. I got it. You know, you don't have to be an entitled queen to get what you want. You just have to be smarter about it. So, and we all know this. We all probably got plenty of them in our families, or we got some of them that's in an institution right now. But it's the next one we're going to talk about is the drama addict. You know, the drama queen or the drama addict. They're just addicted to drama. You know, constantly in conflict, thrives on chaos and crisis. You know, keeps relationships unstable to feel excitement or control or just to have something to talk about. Makes no sense to me. I don't know why you would want to just constantly have stress in your life. But a lot of that is just due to what they're used to. Like I say in these videos, it's better to deal with the devil you don't versus the devil you know. Excuse me, it's easier to deal with the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And for most women, they rather deal with the type of guys that they know, like they know like the back of their hand, than someone new that's acting different, you know? So like if they're used to these ain't shit dudes or these assholes or these guys that just won't get right, they would rather deal with those type of guys than the guy that just randomly comes in their life and starts doing all the right things. That's going to scare them way more because they're waiting on the bomb to drop. It's like, hold on. Why is he being nice? Why is he doing all these things I've been complaining about? Oh, I don't like this. I don't know how to deal with this. I'm gonna go back to what I know because I don't know this. I don't know how to deal with this if this goes wrong. You know, so yes, a lot of them like dealing with drama because that's all that they know. They know how to navigate those waters. It's just like being at a job for 10 or 15 years and you know you need to quit that job. But you don't quit the job because it's all that you know. It's the same thing. You know, it's all you know. It's hard it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So she's going to look at it like, why would I want to go through all of that training when I can just keep dealing with the same guy that I know, or the same drama, or the same, conflicts and chaos and crisis. I thrive in that. Those type of girls watch the Zeus Network, or they watch the Real Housewives, or they watch the crime channels. It's like they thrive. They love that stuff. They just sit there and it's like iron sharpens iron. It's like I never understand it, but some girls are just like that. Um, so now we're going to talk about the jealous controller. And we spoke about this with the guys, but with the girls, the way they control you with jealousy is with their insecurity, with their need for you to constantly reassure them. They're hyper possessive. They stalk social medias. They stalk texts. They stalk your phone. You know, they try to police male behavior because that's their way of controlling you. Anytime you do something that just anything that's manly is deemed as male behavior or a bad thing, and they use that as a weapon. They isolate their partners. They make sure that they don't even want you to be friends with your dog. Everybody's an op. As these young folks say nowadays, everybody's an op. The mama is an op. They isolate you from your mama. They isolate you from, any females. If you got pets, they're going to try to isolate you from that. If y'all got a baby together, they're probably not going to like that you have a good relationship with your child. Just anything. They get real jealous because they feel like they're having to siphon out all the love that they should be getting. They don't want to share it, but they frame jealousy as love. They try to make it seem like, their favorite word is, I just love hard. I love hard. I don't know how to love any other way. That still doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. That just shows that you have to do things your way. And if you don't get your way, you become jealous. So that was pretty simple. We're not going to harp on that one any much longer because we all know a type of person like that. So that was pretty simple. We're going to keep it moving. So now we're going to talk about the chronic victim. The chronic victim, it's like everything is always someone else's fault. Exes, their ex, their boss, their friends, they drain partners emotionally, talking about that stuff all the time while refusing to grow or self-reflect. So these type of women, we all, like I said, when you meet them, they always have a story about, it's a long story. My baby daddy did this or my ex did that. This is why I'm in the situation I'm in now. I got kids by him, and it wasn't planned. He tricked me into it, whatever. Or every time they come home from work, it's their boss this or their coworker that. It's always something about the boss or the coworker. It's always them, never. It's always, the people at work and never them. And if it's not that, it's all of a sudden you can be like, hey, where's Tracy and Melissa or Keisha or Pamela or whatever. Where they at? You don't hang out with them no more? Oh, I don't talk to them girls. Like, hold on, you just went to a party or went to an event with them the other day. I don't talk to them. I don't talk to them. They, they did something I don't like. They did something I don't like. It's weird because it's everybody else's fault. And like I said, we talked about this with the guys, but with the girls, it's always different because with them, they look at you as you're against them if you don't agree with everything. And it's like, it's not that I don't agree. I'm just trying to understand how everybody's against you. For a guy, it's like everybody's against you, all of them. Because you got to think about it. You've been in a relationship with this girl, so you know how she can be, but you can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. You have to take a woman's side. But we're talking about behind closed doors when it's just you and her, and you're trying to get her to understand. Baby, sometimes you can be this way, and it rubs people the wrong way, and you have to take accountability for it. She might listen to you in a moment, but she might turn right back around and pull out something from 2 or 3 years ago and say, you know what, I just think it's funny how you're trying to give me advice. And I found this, I found you liking this girl's picture, on Instagram or whatever. It's like, huh? So it's like, that's not, they don't take accountability. They just take a second to reload them bullets and come back at you. Bah, 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 and hit you with a shot. And like I said, some of these are going to be just the same as guys, because I wanted to show y'all that women and men both can be toxic in the same way. So if you find two people that are chronic victims, oh God, that's what's that show? That's Love Island. that's Love Island right there. So the next one, of course, we talked about with the guys, but we call it the love bomber manipulator. These are girls that are over the top affectionate, quick to say I love you, buy you all kind of things, take you on just an emotional and psychological roller coaster, and then flip out to guilt you or just withdraw from you because you're not doing the same. And we're just talking about in the course of a weekend. They don't even it's just a couple of days. They take you on all these emotional highs and lows because they don't know how to process their feelings. That's just how they handle everything. And in your mind, it's like, okay, I like you, and I'm trying to take it slow. And for these type of women, they don't want to hear that. It's like, oh, you trying to take it slow? I thought you said you liked me. Oh, you playing games. You playing games. Oh, I see. I told you that I'm looking for, a certain type of guy, and I'm looking to be in a relationship. It's like, I know what you said, but it's only been 2 days. And that's a love bomber manipulator. They will pounce on you so quick. I mean, they will jump on you so quick about everything, whether it's good or bad, and it's so you don't know how to respond to it. It's like mental gymnastics. They get you so quick and you don't know how to respond to it, and then that's how they attack you. It's like, oh, you don't like me, you're not interested in me, you're not ready, ready to take this serious. So, you kind of have to, you gotta be careful with that. So I saved this one for last because this is kind of what's going on in social media right now. And we're going to call this one the fake feminine woman. You have a lot of fake feminine women out here. So they try to pose as being soft and nurturing and submissive, but only to get control of your resources. They weaponize femininity. They pretend to be harmless while once they get in your good graces, they turn out to be kind of violent, or exploitive. They like to exploit you. They just seem harmless. They do all this stuff. They're willing to do this, and that. That's why I said that's why you're getting a lot of these sexual assault charges. You're getting a lot of these accusations. You see all the stuff that go on social media where people want to expose you because they come off as soft and they seem like, man, gosh, she's everything I want in a woman. In the moment that they're in there and they got access to your resources, oh, it's a wrap. You got you a tomboy. You got you a thug now. Now she a thug, Now, she ain't submissive. She ain't submissive at all. You ain't even tell her what to do. So this is a culture that's been going on a lot nowadays. I don't know why they do it, but they like doing it. And I hate it. I ain't gonna lie, I hate it because you don't have to be fake. You don't have to do all that to get what you want. Any woman out there that's smart and knows what they're doing and knows how to keep a man knows that there's a way to do it to get there's always a way to get your way without making a man feel stupid or making a man feel like he's giving up everything. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. And it's pretty much showing your worth. Showing that you're worth every penny. Every moment spent with them is worth it. And real women know how to use that. They know how to talk to you. They know how to do everything it takes to keep you. Now, of course, you're going to have all those women out there say, oh, it don't matter what you do, they still going to cheat. I'm going to leave this, and I'm going to say it like this. There's no such thing as perfect. There is no such thing as... There's no way that all these girls are baddies or whatever they want to call themselves. There's no way. All of y'all are not the one. I'm not even the one. I'm not. When it comes to men, I can't sit here and act like, I'm top tier. I know I have a lane, I have a certain lane, and I understand that. But for most women, they don't know how to separate the two. So They think that they have to do all this to get a top quality man. And then when they get them, they don't know what to do. The worst thing you can do is make a guy go through all these things to prove himself just for him to find out that you weren't worth it. You know, and that's like being fake feminine. You know, he come to find out you're not as clean as you say you are. Come to find out you have no skills. Come to find out you have no personality. Come to find out you have nothing going for yourself. You've been fake this whole time. And all for what? All for what? For a nice little night out on the town, to be in somebody's nice house or whatever, to what? To be on a yacht, to what? To get a little attention? Real women know this is not worth that. Because real women know that a good man is going to give them that. Or they're going to find a way to. Because they are worth it. But with that, you know, I just wanted to break down the top 10 toxic guys and then the top 10 toxic females. Like I said, I know most of y'all are not going to agree with it. Doesn't really matter. It's just having a conversation about it and giving y'all some things to think about. And like I said, you might be dealing with this type of person right now. So always say, just know who you're dealing with. Nobody said that you don't need to be with that person, but at least know who you're dealing with. You know, don't just act surprised when that person shows you who they are, and now all of a sudden they ain't shit, because it says more about you and less about them. Always remember that. You know, if every time you get around your friends or you get around somebody and you talk about how some guy ain't shit or how some girl ain't shit, maybe you ain't shit. But as always, that's just unsolicited advice. You just take it or leave it. Don't kill the messenger.